some audio gremlins ended up stealing Patton's audio past the 55-minute mark. I did some audio magic to kind of fix it up so it shouldn't cause too much of an issue. I just want to let you guys know ahead of time, and thank you very much for holding on between the episodes here. So, without further delay, let's get right on into Revival, episode 46.
If I could pick one superpower, like from a shitty genie, it would be the ability to just make the Dragon Ball Z instant transmission noise with my mouth.
So you wouldn't even want to have the range of like that guy from Police Academy. You don't even want to be that. You want to be less talented than the guy from Police Academy. I said it was a shitty
genie, dude. Like, can you imagine walking up behind somebody and Tad put this in post? Put the sound effect in post. Okay. No. Imagine walking up behind somebody and going,
"That's too much effort."
And then they're just like, "Oh fuck, he instant transmission behind me."
Wasn't there a genie in Fairly Odd Parents? You know, you're the one that's fucking obsessed with My Shiny Teeth in Me, bringing up every conversation we have.
That song's in everything, dude.
It's your Homestuck.
It's not. It's not. I deny that.
That's a pretty bad insult.
You know what I'm not going to deny? The fact that this is Revival. Episode... 48. I don't know what it'll be after you split the episodes up, so we'll edit that in. That of like episode 46 or some shit.
Now you have to go back in and add stuff, so add that instant transmission sound effect.
Add this dick.
That's fair point. Okay. So when we last left our intrepid adventurers...
He said it. He does it.
You brought this on yourself by saying that I say it all the time. It's really your fault.
We're intrepid.
So, when we last left our heroes, they were driving a truck. And nothing bad or weird happened.
Elias has to slowly go back to his lab to make sure there isn't, or rather make sure that there is, a large displacer beast kitty cat strapped to the table.
There is, in fact, a displacer beast.
Now, is it alive or dead?
Oh, it's alive.
Or somewhere in between.
I made sure of that.
It is alive, but, just barely.
All right, I'm gonna see if Patton has some, medicinal shit that I can... Well, actually, I've got my students here. This will be a good learning opportunity for them.
So do you want me to wake it up, or do you want me to put it into a deeper sleep?
Go back to the seat.
Fine, jeez.
That is exactly something Patton would do too.
Just lean back.
No, I assume he got up from the steering wheel and walked back there.
Hey, Patton, don't worry. I'll give you a picture-in-picture broadcast of... I think he's going to cut this thing open and make it armor. Put it on him again.
No, I'm not going to cut it open. What the fuck
he's going to put on the displacer beast.
Isn't that what you do, though? Like, you just like to cut things open? Like, you're kind of weird like that? Zep, he cuts things open. We have it on tape.
No, I think you're getting him confused.
Zep is also slightly looking at you. Just kind of like shrugs.
He's going to search all the video tags for incisions.
I mean, he's literally wearing... It's his armor.
Boss, I'm checking back through the footage, and I'm seeing a lot more punching and nervous screaming than I am seeing dissections.
Oh. Well, I'm going to go be depressed that I don't have any more friends that look like me. They were cool. I high-fived a few of them. You do whatever it is that you're gonna do.
Jiron is depressed at no longer being in the Jerryverse.
Listen, Jerry, I understand that you're disappointed that you're no longer the center of the Jerryverse.
He wasn't even the coolest Jerry there.
I saw a Jerry that had 2 sunglasses.
That's the king of the Jerrys.
Cool. You see astral sobbing.
Jerry, the cooler Jerry.
I'm you, but stronger.
Yes. Anyway, what exactly are you doing there?
No, go on.
So you're gonna call over your students there?
Yeah. Because they gotta learn to study shit.
All right. Brandel, the halfling, is far too close to be safe.
I'm gonna just kind of push him back a little bit, like physically.
Yeah. Mavala is standing behind a chair, and Serena is just kind of standing there disinterested.
Right. So what we have here is obviously a displacer beast. I don't think I need to go over that in detail. You're all PhD students. You should know these sorts of things. So basically, well, we're not going to kill it, at least not intentionally.
Professor Adahom? Professor Adahom?
Yes.
How do we know it's actually there?
That's actually a very good question. It's unconscious.
But do they do it even when they're unconscious?
No, they do not. You see, again, I really shouldn't have to explain this, but
Brandel is walking around to various corners now, punching the air.
Poke it, Elias.
yes, well, can anybody tell me why it being unconscious would preclude it from exerting its latent magical abilities? Anyone?
Bueller?
Anyone? All right, I'm going to take that as a no.
Welcome to every college course ever.
Yes,
The professor asks a question and nobody answers.
yes, I'm quite aware of how this works. Yes. Well, the reason that we can be sure that it's actually here is because mana functions off of intent, and you can't intend to do things if you're knocked out. So, no need to worry, it's quite inert.
Roll a nature check on what you just said.
Shh, I'm simplifying things for the children.
Yeah, I get it, but you're also that's like the whole you're going into the fucking aerospace shit.
That's not aerospace, that's like...
No, like how people describe how flight works.
Okay, yeah, so my nature roll was... Hold on, what's my nature bonus? 29.
29?
Yeah.
So, on a 29 there, yes, you're very aware of intent and how these things work and all of that. However, there is such a thing as, instinctual defense mechanisms
Yeah,
and
but...
things of that nature. And also things are passively magical as well. There are passive effects that just happen regardless of operator intent.
Right, but this
Plenty
is...
of animals
This is
Plenty of animals have that.
This is a displacer beast, though.
Yes.
There's absolutely no way its displacer abilities are like not under its own control.
Right. So on this though, you're going to hear Brandel go, Dr. Adahom, Dr. Adahom.
Yes, Brandel?
I found it.
No, Brandel, it's on the table.
He's tapping the air. And you see it impacting something?
What does it impact?
You then see on the ground right there a waking up displacer beast.
Can I tackle it? Can I wrestle the displacer beast?
Oh, it's waking up now?
Yes.
Oh.
In a corner. Not on the table.
It was on the table. It's just now that it's waking up, it's moving over somewhere else. Well, that's certainly interesting. John, why don't you go ahead and sit on it?
I'm wrestling it right now. I need to get my dice out.
You don't need to roll for this. John is currently wrestling the gator.
Hell yeah.
It is surprisingly passive.
If you need something, Elias, there's probably a big old hammer in my bag.
I think I could just headbutt it.
No.
It is not exactly fighting back.
Yeah.
Okay.
This thing is used to being used as a hunting dog, basically.
Right. So what? Can I make?
Last, what do I do with this thing?
Just
make it unconscious.
Maintain active pressure, and here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna get Specky over here,
mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna give it some like war paint, I guess you would call it,
mm-hmm.
some spore paint. that Specky should be able to track it, even if it starts displacing all over the place.
Right. So you're gonna have Specky just mark it with some spores.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
So I probably should have done that to begin with, but I really thought it was going to stay unconscious for longer than this. Good job, Brandel. That'll count for some partial course credit.
Good job, Randall. What about me?
Yes, John, well, you're not exactly writing a thesis, are you? Are you?
Don't really know what that is.
Right.
John, the answer is no. It's okay. I'm not writing a thesis either.
Jerry, we all know that. It is more likely that John is writing a thesis.
Dr. Adelholm?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know what? That John wasn't writing a thesis, or that Jerry wasn't writing a thesis?
Either of them.
Oh, well, now you do.
He starts writing in his notebook.
For now, I'll let you three observe. It shouldn't really be that dangerous. It looked like it was mostly under the control of those mind flayers, so as long as you don't attempt to, mind flay it, and keep it fed, of course, we shouldn't have a problem. Why don't you, as a quick field assignment, whip up, I don't know, either a magical muzzle or cage capable of containing the displacer beast. I'll check back in a couple of hours to see how you've done.
You got to help me out here. I'm not going to hold it for a couple hours.
It's not struggling, John. You don't have to.
I'm going to let it go.
Right. Here, I'll grab some calming herbs and magical plants that I've got and make a quick how do you pronounce that word? Poultice?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe that's the word.
Quick poultice and some abrachloroform. See, I can
just for that. I'm not going to make you roll anything. Done.
Right. And go ahead and knock it out for a little bit longer and let my students deal with it. Oh, and think up a name if you'd like.
A name for this place?
Displacy? Absolutely
That's
not.
Brandel.
Think up a better name, Brandel.
Mavala Jr.
Yeah, let's go with that. Let's go with
Listen, Elias, I've got a
Jr.
good name idea. Specky 2.
No.
Specky.
Specky 2, still specking.
Elias, you might want to have the kobolds look for some materials to get a harness on that thing. That way you can control it a bit easier. Saw it in the movies.
Can you harness this thing?
Well, I mean, to a certain extent. The tentacles are going to go where the tentacles go.
Yeah, let's get some leather on there.
That's
I don't know much
not
more
a
than
bad
that.
idea, Jerry. We'll see if the kobolds want to do some scrapping later. Just make sure you do a head count every time.
I think it could use some spikes.
No. We're going to pass on the spikes. We're not looking for offensive capability here for the displacer beast. It's more like a class pet.
A class pet that should be taking a lot of blood samples from.
Oh,
I see.
time to time. Just make sure you do a head count of the kobolds. They're rather small, and the displacer beast might get hungry.
Well, hold on now. Alonza's from the old world, right? Where you came from?
What?
No, I think
Alonza.
Alonza's a rock native as well.
Is she?
No, she isn't.
Oh,
She's not. Okay.
Okay, I couldn't remember how
She's
old
a
she was.
middle-aged elf.
Ah, that's
That means
right.
she's old as hell.
Yeah, middle-aged is like old as fuck.
See, Patton operates in bird years. I don't know how long a bird lives, but it's probably not too long.
Well, something that comes to mind is she was very familiar with communing with things on the old world, right?
Correct.
So speaking of that, Elias, you're going to get a little call on your radio.
Moshi Elias des.
Shut up.
Shut up.
Okay, what's up? Hey, yo, you got Elias. No, okay. Leave a message at the beat.
So, in character?
Alright, hold on a second.
When you said that, I thought of that fucking Cheetos gif. Hey, yo.
Oh
Hey, yo, little cheetahs.
God damn it!
Is this allowed?
Yo, can I get a displacer beast? Can I get a displacer beast? Flamin'.
Every time I see that goddamn gif, I have to watch it for the whole, minute and a half that it goes on for.
Ring, ring. Hello? Okay, let me get back into character for a second here. Yes, what?
Hey there, Elias. Alonza here. You mind explaining yourself?
In regards to?
What do you think?
Well,
It's taken care of.
there might be a lot of things that you find unpleasant on this journey, so...
Okay, that's entirely accurate. Why do you have a displacer beast in your truck? Where did it come from?
Well, that's an interesting story. One, why don't you have a displacer beast? They're awesome.
He makes a point.
I'm
You got brain problems or something?
I'm super hyped up on this displacer beast right now. In a more serious tone, well, we had an incident with space-time, some mind flayers. I won't go into the details, but I was able to retrieve a living displacer beast. One that has been tamed, actually, to a certain extent. I thought it would make a good research specimen, so I retrieved it.
Right. So, tamed displacer beast
A semi-tamed.
is an oxymoron in the same way that dwarven intelligence is.
Well, I don't think that's a very fair characterization. Have you done any longitudinal studies on dwarven intelligence?
It's going to rip your eyes out. They go for the eyes. Did you know that?
Well, I mean, I noticed somewhat of a eye-tracking behavior from it, but...
Dr. Adelhelm, he likes me. And you see
Don't
the
get
tentacles
too close
reaching
to
closer
it.
to the face.
I said build a muzzle.
Not be the muzzle.
Use the pressure points that I showed you. Also, go ahead and make...
That's just making it angry.
Oh, God. I'm gonna walk back over there, hit it with a pressure point in the right spot, and then go back to the radio. Actually, I'll just keep the radio in one hand and, do the pressure points with the other hand.
Okay.
While I show them. Now, look, Alonzo, I'm sort of busy right now. Look, just...
You do know that you can't keep that thing around here,
just
right?
move your hands like this, and then... I'm sorry, what?
You do know that you can't keep that thing around here, right?
Do you intend to stop me?
Who?
Do you want people to die?
Well, not, without, not in anything other than gross accident, but,
We may have reason to believe it can be tamed.
I'm not exactly looking to, turn it into a companion here, but I'm going to study it in a controlled environment.
What if you could,
And then release it, right?
At some point.
But what if you could have it as a companion? For instance,
That's how
Specky
you got
came from a
Specky.
golem, right?
Specky is an intelligent creature.
Right.
That thing that he calls Specky is a strange abomination that seems to have attached itself to him, and I'm okay with that.
Well, what if you, for lack of a better term, Speckify the displacer beast?
Jerry, there are about
So,
30 different
Specky
reasons
is
why
going
that
to
makes
jump
no
off
sense.
of Elias's shoulder. Walk. Go, hop up onto Jiron's lap, reach up a paw, slap him in the face.
Oof.
Walk back away.
And hop back up.
Not like a hard slap, but just like a no.
Jerry,
It
there
was
are,
worth
about,
a try.
there are about 30 different reasons why that doesn't make any sense. One, I will proceed to list all 30 if you don't stop me.
Well, my
And
line of
30.
thinking there was the golem controlled all
And
those.
30th, Specky is an intelligent creature, not a wild animal.
Meow, meow.
So no, you cannot speckify, if such a word even existed,
Meow.
a displacer beast into an intelligent creature unless you're suggesting we uplift a displacer beast through some sort of arcane ritual that
Can we do that?
No.
Is it a good idea?
That's-
Meow.
I highly doubt that is something that's possible, and even if it was possible, you'd get some sort of, like, mind flayer beast, which isn't good.
Specky is retracting the glowing tendril that was protruding from itself from the displacer beast.
Specky, we discussed this. We're not doing these sorts of experiments for right now. You remember what happened last time.
Meow.
If anyone finds that thing, well, you know,
Specky shivers.
we did bury it deep enough, I think, so they shouldn't find it.
I think that conversation turned suitably cryptic.
All right.
In any case, we're not uplifting it, Jerry.
Well, it was worth a shot.
So you guys are passing through the local area, of course. You know, having to stop over for a night in Fort Smith while your kobolds go off scavenging, as is their mission.
I've got them taking turns keeping this thing pacified.
Mm-hmm.
Do I need to roll
right.
to make sure that they've fully understood how to do this, so I don't have to keep showing them all over and over again?
No, you've done a good enough job.
Right.
But so, what exactly are you attempting to accomplish with this?
With the displacer beast,
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing. Displacer beasts are really good at finding and messing with temporal bullshit, right?
Yes.
So I want to use it like a canary in a coal mine. Right? So we've got this thing in a cage, suitably pacified. It's not going to go anywhere. You know, eventually once, the kobolds do their thing and we build this cage for it. So the next time some temporal bullshit starts up, the displacer beast is going to know about it before we do. So if I can train it with like food or, something like that to basically react and start making noise, start doing something when temporal bullshit is going on, it'd be, good for us.
Now, so the source of mana that they were using, and that this is a displacer beast like does it get the same kind of source of power as a mind flayer, or were they just together at that time? Are they the same type of creature?
No. So technically displacer beasts are fey nonsense.
Yes.
Okay, because I was thinking, because when I was fiddling with when I had Jerry in the suit there, it's got me thinking about how I can. I'm tossing around the idea of trying to make like concentrated mana capsules. Thinking about the other different types of source of magic. See if I can bottle them.
Well, yeah,
I was thinking
potions are a thing.
Yeah,
but more.
We could do that.
I'm talking like super concentrated doses. And so I was wondering if this displacer beast had the same source of mana as those mind flayers and all those. If something happened with the displacer beast, we could use, I could get this concentrated source and use that as a kind of
like a mana grenade.
I mean, that could be one use of it. I mean, I can make anything into a grenade if you just give me enough time and enough explosives, but
I made this chair into a grenade.
haha,
Strapped C4 to it.
But something that
share bomb,
something that will react more. It'll because the whole reason, what you were saying about this guy was he'll detect it before, but this is also a living creature, and so if we could take that annoying living part out of it, but still keep that kind of radar feeling to it, that's what I wanted to know. If I could try and through experimentations, obviously it won't happen
You want to
immediately.
cybernetic this thing?
Well, no. But also,
That would be sick.
yes, possibly. Now that you mention it,
My
That would be
my thinking
so
here is
sick.
that there's a
Plug yourself into the jack in your neck.
no.
Into the cat.
Jerry, stop coming up with terrible, stupid ideas.
I mean, it's an idea. I'll jot it down. Patton's got 2 notebooks on top of his multiple other notebooks. They have Patton's terrible ideas, then Patton's terrible ideas, but there's a question mark at the end. That one's going to go in the question mark book.
This is like trying to plug a toaster into a watermelon.
I mean,
It doesn't work.
No, think of it like this. You can turn on a light bulb using a potato, right? So you could probably find a way to work a toaster with the watermelon. You're just not thinking outside of the box, Elias.
We don't have the skill yet, but we can try later.
Anyway,
No.
I just wanted to see if the Displacer Beast died, if I'd be able to work with it like that to make an artificial radar to detect what you're trying to get as well as a backup plan.
My idea is also that we just don't have a lot of knowledge or information about creatures that mess with temporal shit, like displacing time stuff. It would be better to have something that I can study to get a better understanding of how it works, so I want to keep it alive.
As long as possible, and as long as it's convenient.
I mean, yeah, if it hauls off and eats somebody, I guess we'll have to get rid of it, but
oh, you guess?
it depends on who it eats.
All right. So you have one pacified displacer beast, kind of.
Yeah, maybe you get whacked by a tentacle every once in a while, but it's just playing. It's not playing, it's trying to eat you. I do need to come up with a name. Oh, it's a Marvelo Jr., that's right. We're definitely going to call it that.
What?
Mavala Jr.
Oh, I was thinking Harry Potter, so I said Marvelo.
Your mind has two modes: Harry Potter and my shiny teeth in me.
Neither of these statements are correct.
But are they incorrect?
Yes.
How long keeping Marvelo here like this?
Marvelo Jr. Junior, remember. John doesn't have to sit on it anymore.
Yeah, we're taking turns, but I'm not letting it out of my quote-unquote sight.
You go to the bathroom at night and you look up, there's a displacer beast. And then you look down and look up again, it's gone. It's not a big deal.
See, I
And then it's
dispute
back
you
in
on
its
that.
cage. It never left.
I don't know how much I like that.
So what are the rest of you fucks
Yeah.
doing?
Watching a displacer beast so it doesn't eat me.
It's not gonna eat John. It could never fit all of John inside of its mouth.
I ain't gonna let it get a start.
Yeah, Patton's keeping on trucking here.
It could eat Zeb.
I'm definitely gonna take some samples from the Displacer Beast when we go in
yeah.
shifts between.
Definitely.
John drives sometimes. Jerry, do you want to learn how to drive? Because we can teach you how to drive. Basically,
Don't let Patton teach Jerry how to drive.
you gotta stop me.
Yes.
It would be a good skill to have, I guess.
There has got to be somebody else in the caravan who could teach Jerry how to drive.
I could teach him how to drive.
Somebody else in the caravan who could teach Jerry how to drive.
I don't like to brag, but I'm a pretty good driver.
Is that true?
Yeah, I remember he drove that one time. He has a motorcycle. Do you have a motorcycle, Elias?
I do not have a motorcycle.
Well, there you
Case
go.
closed.
So, didn't Patton get some kind of thing? Right?
Yeah.
You got some.
I got
kind of
this
magic
really cool
bullshit now.
Yeah, I got this really cool staff now. It's all gooey and frozen black ice. It's awesome.
I'm sure that's not concerning in the slightest.
So Patton, no, not at all. If anyone else has any concerns, feel free to raise them.
So we have 3 down. Right?
And we haven't seen Michael since that one, so probably keep an eye out.
Speaking of which, so where are we on the map right now? Where are we headed?
We're in Fort
Because
Smith,
we're
I
headed one
believe.
direction, and then there was a giant There was a giant eyeball sun, but we took care of that one, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you guys were staying in Fort Smith, right? And you're starting to move, assuming that you're still doing that. You're going up 40 towards Oklahoma City, right?
Correct.
Okay. So, is there anything of particular interest that you want to do on the way there?
I mean, I've got my hands full with this Displacer Beast midterm project.
I've got something. Avoid forest.
I'm gonna make sure that we're all because we took kind of a lot of hits over the past few days.
Okay.
I'm gonna make sure everyone here is good. No broken bones that aren't gonna heal. I'm gonna make sure everyone's braced.
Yeah. Of course. So,
I was actually going to see if I could cross-reference the word Teolia. Is that what it was? Or like to
Yes.
do a history check, see if I know what that would be just from like maybe seeing it before. See if it's like
yeah,
the
one
ball with
second. Let
Tonali.
me, give me. If you wanted to get that, it would take me a bit. Do you think that your character would actually have reasonable, in-depth knowledge of Aztec animism?
I'd say it's possible, not really probable.
Okay. How?
Because we were in the Tonali facility. I might have seen something.
You could consult Patton, and I could take a look as well. See if there's anything I have in the data banks there.
Yeah, Patton might be a better person to check that, actually. So could I, like, assist him on that?
Run that by me again.
So, like, maybe we can have Pat, like, I can ask Patton if he knows anything about it.
Do you think that Patton would know anything? Like, Ted, do you think that Patton would know this?
Patton wouldn't, but he's got a lot of info that he shouldn't understand or know. I could do a search
That's
of
true.
Jerry and see if we can pull anything up.
Sure.
So I was going to assist him on this then.
And this will be a history check?
Yes.
All right, so and I get a +2 because Jerry's assisting, right?
Yes.
All right, so plus 15.
Nat 1.
That'd be stupid. I rolled a 2. So 17.
I got a 11 on mine.
So you get
Yeah, no. You have absolutely no idea.
Yeah, sorry, Jerry. Nothing's coming up here.
That's okay.
I'll mark it down, though, and I'll put it in my journal of bad ideas.
We should keep an eye out for that word when we go to Denver. We can probably find out more about it then.
I think that's about it. I don't know if anyone else, I don't know if John's got anything he wants to do.
Watch the Displacer Beast.
You can't really do that. I mean, you try looking at it for too long, and then it, kind of fades out of your vision, and then you blink back, and then it's there.
Yeah, I'm doing
Look
that.
up at the ceiling, and then it's there. I
Keep
want
a
a
close
spin-off
eye.
manga with John and the Displacer Beast.
You can't. Not everything can be a spin-off.
I think we should each get our own spin-offs.
That is blatantly not true. Everything can be a spin-off.
Have you seen the Avengers?
That's true.
John and the Displacer Beast. John goes to, to make a big cowboy sloppy Joe. Turns away, the Displacer Beast eats it. Comes back, Displacer Beast!
John makes
Okay,
some
so enough
delicious
filler.
steamed
Let's-
hams. An unforgettable
Okay.
luncheon.
So we're driving down 40.
Correct.
Yes. So, driving down 40. As you guys are passing, across the Arkansas River and things like that, you're noticing it's starting to get, it was very wooded, right? And semi-magically as well in some of these wooded areas, but you're starting to notice that it's just starting to get overgrown, and the mana here is thinning severely, rapidly.
Thinning?
Yes.
So it's overgrown with normal plants? Quote,
Yes.
non-magical,
You're
basic-ass trees
Yes.
and stuff?
Correct.
Well, to us, those aren't normal. They're
Yeah, for the
weird
rock
and
Yes.
normal.
fucked up.
Yeah, you're starting to just get more and more mundane, non-magical plants and animals.
Oh, we're
And
getting close to a dead
it's-
zone.
Yeah, it's thinning out fast.
I'm gonna go ahead and roll nature on that to see if it's thinning out too fast. You know what I mean? Like, is there like a hard line here that's set up, or is it just like something else? I want to know, if there's some kind of like actual line, or if it's just this is the limit of where the mana is spread so far. All right, 25.
Okay. On a 25, so it's not like there's a hard line where mana will end, right?
Mm-hmm.
Considering that mana producing plants are exactly that. They produce. So there are going to be little bits and patches. However, the baseline, right?
Mm-hmm.
The baseline ambient mana is dropping very rapidly. And it's the other thing of note is that you can't exactly, once you're out of a field of mana, you can't really locate the patches within it because you have nothing to search through.
So it just seems like it's all gone, even if there are patches.
So we're kind of just like in really murky water at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's starting to fall off very rapidly, like alarmingly so.
Okay, so
At this point, you guys have passed over the Arkansas River, but you haven't gone over the next like large body of water.
well, I mean, we've prepared for this sort of thing. Like, we knew that there would be dead zones, so we just have to have everybody, seal up everything that they can and start rationing.
Yep. I mean, this is what
Right.
the road train was designed for. So make sure make an announcement over the intercom system to everyone here over the radios. Let everyone know that we're coming up to a potential dead zone. Get everything locked down and be ready.
Okay, so that's what you're going to get. Is you're going to get a call from Dr. Robo. So mana's getting really thin. You guys are safe up there, but we can't really just leave these things behind. The other vehicles. What do you want us to do? Are you going to scout ahead and we'll wait for the signal?
That's true. Their vehicles aren't really shored up the same way ours are. Right?
I thought we
Right, so
spent
it'd
a bunch
be-
of gold getting ours suited up and then a bunch of the other cars as well.
No, it's just the road train and our Range Rover.
Oh,
that
okay.
are,
Yes,
okay.
which is in use, but the thing is that if you were to try to take literally everyone through a dead zone without knowing where it ends,
Yeah, it's
you're
about
going to run into trouble much quicker. Your effective exploratory range is going to be much, much shorter.
It's like fording the river.
Well, think about it like this. Think of it like sailing, right? If you have 100 people with you on the boat, you're going to run out of food a lot faster, and you're going to have to turn back, right? They'll reach a point where you simply cannot risk not finding land, right? There's a point of no return.
right.
Maybe we can have
So-
them set up a checkpoint here and then go back to Fort Smith.
If that's what you want them to do.
Because I think that would be better than just having them wait here. They can like set up a base in Fort Smith, and that way we can have like our first stop on our supply line.
Okay.
That actually makes pretty good sense. And then if we do run into any issues, they're not super far away. Everything's ready. They can get up and get out here to meet us if we need them for something.
Right, that's what we
Okay.
have Dr. Robo for.
All right, so we're just taking
All
the truck out here then, right?
Correct.
All right.
Assuming.
I would think we would maybe want to take our Dragonborn bodyguards with us.
Yeah.
What, you guys and those guys?
Yeah, they might be in the Range Rover.
Yeah.
I mean, you want them to stay behind in case they need any protection?
Because how many people do we have that if, say, a roaming, a gaggle of hobgoblins comes on by, we want to make sure that there's, no chance that they're going to be able to go in there and hurt everyone and get in there and cause a ruckus. So I'm trying to remember if we, because the people that are able to fight and defend, I mean, they're not useless. They can defend themselves.
Well, it's not like we're leaving them here permanently, right?
Yeah, you're basically what you would be doing is it's standard scouting procedure is you don't know when you'll be able to find mana next, right? But you guys aren't necessarily prepared to go, permanently without mana anyway. You're going to need to hop between small patches and things like that, but you're going to need to find them to set up where you need to go and how you're going to get everybody there.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't just blindly forge forward. You have to establish, okay, in 70 miles there's an inhabitable area, so bring over this many people and this many cars and then make another trip or whatever.
It's like gas stations when you're way in the middle of nowhere in the West, where they'll say, you've got this huge stretch of road where if anything goes wrong, you're very, very far from the next checkpoint. Just instead of gas, it's living gas.
Yes.
So
it's very similar to, say, like cave diving or something. If you don't have, you need to know where your outs are.
You have to know where the air pockets are so you don't get stuck.
Yeah, so you have outs to not just drown.
Yeah,
same thing.
So I want to bring the Dragonborn with us, and then have everyone else go back to the fort there.
And we can also call the steel drivers and have them help them set up a camp, because they're already in Arkansas. True. They're in the area, sort of.
If they need the help, yeah. So we'll let them take care of that. Robo will be in charge of setting up that.
You can just let them know that they're there, basically.
Like, hey, we've got a group of people here. If they call for help, that's where they'll be. Hopefully they won't need to call for help. Hopefully nothing goes wrong, but just in case.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Right, so we'll forge forward.
Okay, so now that has all been established, are you taking or leaving your students there?
They need to come. They have to, because this is literally what they signed on for.
Okay.
Plus the Dragonborn are here, it'll be fine.
Yeah, so you've got your road train and one bodyguard vehicle.
Yeah, they all fit in the road train.
Mm-hmm.
In the lab and stuff, so.
Yeah. So, as you guys start driving on further, the roads are going to become far more inhospitable than you're maybe used to. These are roads that were not particularly well maintained even before everything went to hell. And now it's starting to get overgrown to a point where it is becoming very difficult to travel on them. And there are not any other outside roads for you to use, really. There aren't any side roads for you to dip down to. So things are going to come to a bit of a head when hold on, as you'll see, do you see that bridge, that very large bridge over the lake whose name does not show up on Google Maps?
I don't have Google Maps open.
Yes, I see it.
Yeah, right near it's in Chicada, Oklahoma. There is a fairly long bridge on I-40 over a lake whose name, why is this, it's a thing near, like, why is everything in Oklahoma have dumb names? Eufaula State Park?
And nothing's
Lake
showing up for me,
Eufaula.
too.
Yeah, it's Lake Eufaula, I guess is the name of it.
It's got a dumb name, but it's no toad suck.
Yeah, that was an amazing one. That one was just fucking fantastic. So, this is one of those, like land bridge sort of things, right? However, this stuff is eroded to the point where this bridge is no longer passable.
I roll to check for crabs.
Now, when you say passable, do you just mean it's covered in so much debris or is it just structurally unstable?
Debris and structurally unstable. So there are several points in the bridge where it is actually more of a legitimate bridge than a land bridge, and those parts are collapsed.
Well, I guess we got to go around then, huh?
All right, so looking at this bridge here, I'm wondering if it would be even realistic. So it's got the land bridge, right? So it's got portions of the bridge that are just dirt, rock, whatever.
Yeah.
How big are these gaps between in which the bridge is impassable? Would it be feasible to try and make a support, or would it not? Because it would be really rough, I think, to try and make a support that could support the weight of a fucking semi. So I'm wondering how big these gaps and how large a space in between is. If we're going fast enough, if we might be able to just kind of whoop.
Like, it's at least 100 meters of just gap.
100 meters, huh? All right, can I, all right, let me see here. What would I roll to do some quick physics calculations? I want to know theoretically, how fast and at what angle.
No.
Yeah, you see?
Okay, so
I will
this
not
is a
allow
freebie.
you to jump this.
If you were to attempt to, quote, jump this gap,
Uh,
it will require as much engineering as it would take to fix the bridge.
So we're not doing any more work and it'll be sick.
Yeah, Dan, you're just
Yeah,
giving
no,
me
it would
upsides
be-
here.
No, it would absolutely not work and would destroy your vehicle.
So we're doing it.
Do it. No.
Okay, let's think about this. How exactly is a trailer attached to the truck thing that's hauling it, right?
Yeah, Patton is going to do these
How do you
calculations.
think that would operate in the air?
Yes, Patton's going to do these calculations, and while he thinks it might be a worthwhile endeavor, there's probably an easier way. But once again, gonna open up that notebook, put it right under there in the question mark, jump the chasm, and then / do it. So let's look at some other ways that we might be able to get this across.
Looking at the map, we could take 266.
Just go
That's a
right
back
around
road,
it.
But I mean, might have a bit better luck. That's a much smaller bridge.
Okay, so you're going to try and go south around?
North around. 266 cuts out of.
So you're going to go north around and then try to connect on the 62?
If you take there's North 170 road. Numbers aren't working in my head, but just before the bridge, out of that town, north up to 266, and we take that west. It's got like one or two small bridges. We take that up and around.
All right.
I mean, that makes sense. I'm just sitting here, studying the effects of a low mana environment on this displacer beast. It's very interesting.
Once again, it's shocking just how often I could have actually used that daily. The one with the fucking trampoline.
I don't think a trampoline is going to help us out of this one, Patton.
The thing about this is, though, is that any detour that you take is going to start to dwindle your supplies of mana here.
Wait, shit, where are we on the map again?
Fucking type into your fucking search bar.
Google
Goddamn.
Maps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look up
And
fucking
then
Fort Smith.
scrolly,
follow 40.
scrolly.
You can do this at home too. If you're listening to the podcast by a computer, look up Fort Smith, and you can track our progress along 40. Pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, so you guys came from Fort Smith. You're heading west on 40, right? You already crossed the Arkansas River. And the bridge that you were just trying to cross is the one north of Lake Eufaula State Park.
I think we can assume it's on Lake Eufaula.
Nothing in Oklahoma is pronounceable. You guys are in front of this bridge currently. What would you like to do?
We're just gonna go north.
Okay.
So we go north out of that unnamed town by the lake up to 266. And then we try to get around the lake like that on 266.
Okay. Sounds good to me. So, let me think real quick. Ranges. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. As you guys go north and pull off onto 266, the road is far more narrow than the other highways and such, so you do kind of have to go slower as you're pushing things out of the way, right? And it's around the time that you're starting to have to, there's several small bridges and things across 266 that also seems rather precarious. Not necessarily surefire, not exactly surefire things. So, what we're going to do here is start up a skills challenge with goal, get to Oklahoma City before running out of mana.
And we're trying to plot the course here, right? Okay, Oklahoma City is pretty far from where we are right now.
Yes. So basically, the way this is going to work is on each person's turn, right? There are decisions that are going to have to be made as far as how you're going to do things and where you're going to go, Oregon Trail style, that are risk versus reward, mana conservation versus speed. Or, safety versus mana conservation, rather.
Right.
So, on that note, everybody roll me up some initiative.
You got it, fam. 23.
23?
I got a 17.
I got a 9.
Okay, so it was 23, 17 for Elias. What for Patton?
I don't know the exact number because Audacity fucked up the recording.
And what for Giron?
9.
You guys had literally the exact same turn order as before. The numbers were slightly different except for John's. But yeah, same turn order. This is weird. So, first up is going to be John. So,
Wait,
you
did
guys
I
are
skip?
having to...
I got 20. I got like 23.
Yeah, I got a 17.
Oh, wait. Oh, I got him backwards. My bad.
I was gonna
I
say.
don't want to go first.
Yeah. Sorry, I got those backwards. For some reason, I heard Elias with the... I heard Elias with the 17 and John with the 23.
I'm gonna roll nature to fit a saddle to the displacer beast.
Shut up. So, as you're driving along at 266, right? There is a point here where there's a small bridge,
Okay.
right? And it looks rather structurally unsound.
Okay.
You're surrounded by these, there's lakes, there's a couple of side roads, but nothing that you can see on your map that connects quickly to the other side, right?
Okay.
So, what would Elias do to help remedy the situation?
Ask Pat.
Hmm.
I mean, so this in this situation, what we're looking at, it's a bridge, right?
Yeah.
How deep is the water?
How deep is the water? Difficult to tell immediately, but not very deep.
Okay, well, I guess I can give us like a better sense of risk versus reward with a nature check here. Um, to make it easier, like we don't want to go too far around if we're gonna lose like a ton of mana to the dead zone. So I want to get up high, up on top of the. I want to stop the car for a second and get up on top of the semi and roll nature to see if I can spot some foliage like in one of the alternate routes that looks like it might be magic.
Mm-hmm.
That way, if we have to take up one of the slower alternate routes, we can take one of the slower ones that is likely to have more mana there.
To partially recharge?
Yeah.
Sure.
So I'm going to roll nature for that. That is a... I keep forgetting my nature bonus. 28.
So, 28. So, on a 28, yeah, you see, as you look north towards like the mouth of the creek that kind of empties down into this lake, right?
Yeah.
Along the sides of that creek, you do notice some very sparse outcroppings of mana producing plants. So you could reasonably go up one of these side byroads, send somebody out to go collect them, and have a little bit more of a buffer.
All right, so let's do that.
All right. And by the way, this is going to be just 8 successes, 4 failures. So that is 1 success. So you send out probably the Dragonborn, considering that they're a bit more hardy and all of that, to go collect a lot of these plants, and you actually you netted some mana there.
Nice.
However, as you're going up, this is like even more so than before. This is a detour. This is a detour of the detour. Right, but eventually you are able to curve back around to get back on 266. And so you're driving along, and as you're getting up towards Grayson, this town here, right?
Right.
And it's starting to get dark. It is very, very slow going. And you guys aren't getting into dire it's not dire at this point, but it's not good. Like you're running through your mana pretty quickly.
Yeah, and we don't have enough. We can't really stop for me to like recharge because we lose more than we gain because there's not enough magical plants around here.
Correct. So, at this point, you guys are going to come over towards this town here. Your next big obstacle, of course, is going to be finding shelter for the night, right?
Can't just sleep in the car.
Well, you can, but you need to put the car in an actually safe spot. You've noticed along the way several markings of what look like tracks from those from motorcycles that you might remember as some of those Knoll bikers. It looks like they operate in this area sporadically.
That's no good.
Correct. So, as you guys are pulling up to stop for the night, right? John.
And we're pulling off like into Grayson.
Yeah, I'm assuming. You need to stop somewhere.
Yeah.
So, in the night, as you're on watch, you hear the low rumblings of a motorcycle engine off in the distance. What do you do?
I'm gonna climb on top of a low building, preferably one with some decent cover.
Mm-hmm.
And if they get even sort of close, I'm going to start taking some shots at them. I'm going to make myself sound louder and bigger than I really am and try and scare them off as if there's more than just me up here.
So you're gonna
Okay.
Like roll, and intimidate. Exactly.
It's more like if
I
there's
like
at least 2 cowboy orcs.
Exactly, yeah.
So intimidate.
Intimidate. Whew. The 20. That's a natural 20.
Nice. That's going
Ooh,
to count
boy.
for 2. So you see one of these Knoll bikers roll up into town slowly and start looking around, and it's very clear that he's circling the area in general, right? Like they caught on to you guys, and you can see several more with their engines off, like hiding on the backside of one of the roads, right? Like down a little driveway. So, what would your goal be? Are you trying to hit them, or are you trying to just scare them off?
All right, so there are how many guys coming into the town?
Approximately 10. There's one with his engine on and 9 more.
Okay, yeah, the guy with his engine on is what I was talking about.
Yeah.
All right.
So are you going to actually
I know
hit
exactly
him?
what I'm
are
going
you
to
doing
do.
to him?
So I'm going to try and creep around him to get closer to the guys that he's going to call in.
Mhm.
I'm going to start taking shots at him and start whooping and hollering from the buildings. Y'all get out of here now. Hop off to another building, take a few more shots at him as they're trying to creep up on me, and scare them off.
Okay.
And then,
so the rest of you guys are going to hear the whole town sort of erupt into Knoll screams, engines starting up, backfiring, and just screeching tires.
and
and-
as the first guy who was scouting out the town comes up to try and figure out what the hell's going on, jump off a building and fucking headbutt him.
Nice.
That's intimidating, right?
Absolutely.
You get the hell on out of here and don't come back.
All right, so that is going to count for 2 successes, as not only do you scare them away, but you actually make them ditch their motorcycles. A lot of them. And with that, there's a lot of fuel reserves,
Yeehaw.
right? So instead of having to spend residuum and the like on making concentrated mana potions and what have you to not die, right? Like the residuum that you would normally need to use to make your fuel, you can now spend on more mana potions and shit instead.
Excellent.
Meaning, John has just increased your effective range by quite a bit.
I kick over one of their bikes.
Nice. So, so next up, you guys are going to be driving back down through 266 as the day is starting up anew. So, Patton, you guys are making your way, and eventually you're going to have to get in towards back towards 62, getting closer to getting back onto 40, right? That goes fairly decently. However, right, there is a very large, well, at least for what you've seen so far, right, compared to the other cities, the city that you're about to come into, Spelter here, is pretty rich in resources for you guys to take. As far as things go, this place is pretty damn pristine compared to a lot of others. Nothing seems really burnt out or destroyed, and in fact, the general foliage was thin enough that this place hasn't been entirely reclaimed either. So, you also see there is a fairly large, there is a very large truck store, like one of the ones similar to the place where you got your actual big truck.
Don't eat the food from there. It's awful.
Yeah. There are several vehicle supply stores. So, as you're going through here, what is your priority and what are you trying to do?
I want to check out that nearby automotive store, that big ass one, to see if we can scavenge for some good stuff to have on hand for repairing the truck if we need it.
Okay. So, as you pull into one of these automotive manufacturing companies and repair shops and the likes, right? There's several of those in a pretty large square around themselves. So, you're on a time limit though. So give me an Arcana check then, or I'm assuming that's what you would want to do to attempt to scavenge.
I was thinking more dungeoneering.
Oh, that's good too.
Since I'm basically scavenging all of these parts and stuff. So,
yeah.
Let me go ahead and roll that. I've got an 11 in it. 20 in total.
20 in total?
You only rolled a 9.
That's still a success. It's just barely, but it's still a success. So, yeah, you guys pull into one of these things. Patton goes out to go scavenging for very specific tools, right? And he's in and out in like an hour or less. So you now have a decent supply of automotive repair tools, specialized ones that you did not have before.
Oh, and also, I got one of those little fucking scent trees. This one smells like pineapple.
That's the important part.
Hey, Elias, check out this little tree. Ooh, it smells fruity.
Specky immediately pounces on it and tears it to shreds. I'm just saying, there's something about pineapple scent that makes Specky freak the fuck out.
Well, all right.
Okay, so as you guys are now attaching back onto 40 and driving on down, you are going to hit at a certain point, right? Giron.
Oh, we hit Giron on the road?
Yes. Absolutely.
Oh, no.
Absolutely.
Jerry, before you say it, no, you can't roll Arcana to open up a portal to get all the other Jerrys to help us. I won't allow it.
That would be cool, though.
So, Giron, as the most legitimately magically attuned person in the party, right?
Yeah.
As you're passing this intersection where you could go south on 75, right?
Mm-hmm.
And right as you're passing over that, you get a strong feeling of a very strong mana signature somewhere to the south. Maybe a couple of miles. It would involve diverting off of your current path, but you guys are running low on mana and might be something that could help you out. So, what are you going to do? Are you going to alert the group about this, or are you going to immediately attempt to get them to go down towards it, or what are you going to do?
Well,
so you just got back onto 40 after getting out of whatever the name of this town is, Spelter. And if you go west, a good maybe like 15 kilometers, you get down to the point where you could take 75 south. Yeah, and somewhere down there, down 75 in this general vicinity, near Pharaoh, there is a strong mana signature.
Well,
you just barely get, like, you cross over one of the ley lines there that just barely crosses over. And, you can feel the tendril leading down to it.
Okay. So Patton just rolled Dungeoneering, right?
Correct.
Alright, so I'm gonna check Arcana here to see if this is a specific type of mana that I've maybe felt before. See if it's either some Michael bullshit or if it's just a lot of mana.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Alright, so I got a Plus 10? What are we going to roll? Folks, that's 16.
16 in total?
Yep.
Oh boy.
That sounds like a failure to me, unless you want to use your action point.
I'm going to sit on my action point.
Okay. So you were trying to get a read on what sort of mana signature it is?
Yep.
Alright, so it's sort of, formless, amorphous. So it's kind of giving off a feeling that it's just like a pocket of greenery, probably.
Oh. Hey, Patton, head us south. I think there might be some mana-growing plants down there that we can use to make more potions. I am sensing a lot of it.
About how far do you think it might be, Jerry?
Nothing too far. It doesn't feel too far away at all.
So, at the top of the round, Elias.
Yes.
So you had noticed when you're in a mana dead zone, everything is eerily quiet.
Correct.
There isn't any of the background noise that you're used to. There's none of that. It feels like you're missing a sense. It feels like you suddenly can't smell anything. Like the feeling where you go from like when you're really sick and you can't smell anything, and then it clears up and everything smells weird.
Yeah.
That's what's happening right now.
Oh, like everything's coming back?
Everything's starting to come back, but this also feels weird.
So, all right,
It feels off.
I'm gonna roll insight then to see if there's something like this that I've experienced before, or if it's
insight is more of a thing like. So, insight is social perception.
Oh, it has to be social?
Insight is reading people, living things,
Mana
discerning
is a living
truth
thing.
from lies.
I got a question here.
It's, sense motive.
Would
or
he be able
recognize
to
illusions.
roll insight on himself to see if he's just off from being in the dead zone?
No.
Okay.
No, that's not really.
That's like saying I'm going to intimidate myself into running faster.
Yeah, who would ever do that?
If you don't run faster, I'm going to blow our brain out.
Who would ever argue with their own subconscious, right?
Yeah, nobody's done
fuck
that.
it. Let's just do perception then. Nobody's rolled
Yeah.
perception yet. Yeah, so basically what I'm looking for here is like I want to reach back and see if this feeling reminds me of anything, or if I can crystallize this unease into a more concrete explanation. That will be a 28.
Okay.
I'm rolling 15s today.
So, on a 28, you're recognizing this as it's something that feels fairly. You recognize that this feels off,
Mm-hmm.
and you felt something very similar to it in the past. And what you're going to notice is Specky is going to be all puffed up
Yeah.
and looks nervous and scared.
As we're heading towards this thing.
Yeah, as you're heading towards it, what you're going to notice is that the mana presence is going to start moving towards you guys quickly.
Right. I'm going to tell Patton to cut the engines very quickly, pull off to the side of the road, and put up every single last mana shield that we got.
So you want me to patten down the hatches?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
A little scamp.
God damn it. Okay, you've made me completely lose my train of thought here.
Your road train of thought.
Yeah. Okay, so as you guys pull off to the side of the road, cut the engines, and really prepare for an onslaught of whatever this is.
Well, I didn't really
John.
want to prepare for an onslaught. What I was going to say is I wanted everybody to stop putting out mana of their own. Like, people have their
Is that a
own
thing you can
little...
No, it isn't.
Not,
And
no, let
So-
me explain what I mean.
Yeah.
I wasn't
Sure.
I wasn't going to say, hey, everyone just stop being magic
Hide your
for a
power
minute.
levels.
No, what I meant was, people use mundane spells all the goddamn time. Right? We take it for granted. I mean, like, this is speaking in terms of meta now, so like we don't have magic, but for people who in this setting, for people who have magic, nobody fucking, cleans their shoes by hand. Nobody ties their shoelaces by hand unless, for whatever reason. You use all sorts of just little minor charms and shit all the time. So what I wanted to do was tell everybody to stop doing that of any kind, so that we minimize our signature as much as possible, even with the shielding that we have.
Okay. That makes sense. Also, it's more like people who are actually, magically attuned do that.
Well, that's
there are
right.
still people who don't have any magical talent.
That's true.
Like, there are plenty of people who can't cast spells. They suck at it. So,
Fucking muggles.
as you're doing that, and, it's kind of the magical equivalent of stay still,
Yes.
right?
They hunt based on movement.
So, John, as you guys pull over, you're going to see, if you've ever been in a dust storm, it's a bit like that. As you've got this just pure cloud of these ashy gray, sort of feathery plants that are just starting to swirl around the truck. Like, have you ever seen like any of those larger dandelions, right? Getting blown in the wind, like the large puffballs, or like cottonwood,
Mhm.
right? Things like that. That is just forming a dense cloud that is now circling around your truck here. It seems like whatever this is, it's attracted to mana of some kind. And even with your shielding, it's keeping mana in, but it's not perfect.
Well, Jerry, I think we found your mana.
So this is loud, by the way. This is like a swirling vortex, as your truck is just being buffeted with what amounts to a very, very large mass of a mana sweeping cloud of spores and plants.
All right.
This is
Well-
likely one of the reasons why there's so little ambient mana.
Well, it was plants, all right.
Yep. There are plants,
bad
Jerry.
ones.
I shout over the gale.
Yeah. The truck is starting to rock very noticeably.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to ask what exactly they were doing to threaten us, but they're going to tip us over.
Yeah.
All right, give me 1 second. Or however long this takes to load.
Like, at this point, you cannot see out of any of the windows.
BRB Bible verses.
Pretty much. I'm going to pull out my Bible, get up to the cab, tell Patton to start driving, and I'm going to quote some Bible stuff.
Good.
I'm a very useful person.
Okay, so you cannot see out of these windows.
Okay. And we pulled off the road? We can't just go relatively
Yes.
straight?
Not really, no.
You'll
okay.
have to do something about
I
the
tell
storm
Patton to
before
start
we can
driving
move.
as soon as he can see where we're going.
Yeah,
Okay. No, this works.
No, I know, I'm just
What are
saying.
you doing to facilitate this?
Okay. So, then they cry unto the Lord in their trouble, and he bringeth them out of the distress. He maketh the storm a calm, so that the waves thereof are still. I'm going to try and get these things to calm the fuck down.
Okay.
Oh boy. That was an 11. I don't think that works.
Wait, 11 total?
No.
Yeah.
Would you like to reroll
I mean,
with your action point?
what are our successes and failures?
You have 4 successes and 1 failure, and you need 8, and you can only take 4. So you got 3 more failures left in you, and you need to get 4 more successes.
I mean, I don't know if it'd be worth it. I've only got a 6 in religion.
How is that possible?
It's intelligence based. John ain't that smart.
Yeah, it's int based for some unknown reason.
I'm trained and I've got +1.
Religion is intelligence based.
John runs and grabs his fedora.
He already
No,
has
this
a
is
hat.
the problem with a lot of this shit. I would think that it would be wisdom based, and I may at some point just house rule it to be wisdom based because that makes way the fuck more sense.
I mean, I think it's intelligence based because it's knowing just straight up information.
It's about knowledge. Yeah, it's about knowledge, and in most situations, in most use cases, it's about people using religion checks to like know things about other people's religion. Is like, oh hey, that's a drow. What do I know about Lolth? Right? And then you're like, oh well, this is like this sacrament and blah 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 blah.
See, if I was smart, I'd have flavored this as something differently. But I think I've only failed 1 religion check so far. It's 2 now.
Yeah,
I might actually have to start fucking doing that. No, I think I just take the hit here. I don't want to waste my action point.
Okay, I'm okay with that. So, on that failure, you're going to see, John is going to go still and start doing that, and you're going to see these things get repelled slightly, and Patton is going to start driving. However, John, what you're going to feel is that force that you put out just gets immediately devoured by these things, right? And they puff up more and stick onto the truck.
Oh, no.
Well, that had the opposite effect of what I wanted.
Like some excess express shit.
Yeah, basically he just made them stronger.
Oh no.
He just fed them.
Oops, Daisy. John shouts over the gale.
As the magical effect that he put out is basically food to them. Okay, so Patton, you had a brief moment of clear vision, right? And then you gun it to get out of the storm, going back up north to get away from these things. And then they all just stick onto the windshield. You have no idea where you're going right now.
All right, so what I'm thinking of is having some kind of exhaust plume to distract them to a higher source of mana than what's in front of us here.
Oh, so you want to do a mana chaff.
Say yes. Yes.
So like how fighter jets, when a heat-seeking missile gets launched on, they eject chaff to trick the sensors, so it detonates on that instead of the jet. Same thing.
Yeah, what I'm thinking of doing is I'm thinking of, and I'm sure I've made, a direct pipeline to the gas tank from the driver's seat here. I want to put in some kind of concoction here, like Dr. Patton's patent pending off-road offloader, and see if if this is making kind of sense here.
No. I get what you're doing. You're putting you're putting a bunch of concentrated mana into the exhaust pipes to fire it out from the top of the truck to try and suck these things away.
All right, then I'll go ahead and I'll roll it here. And that's abysmally low. Action point reroll. And 21 in total.
Oh, that'll do it.
21.
Okay. So, on that, right? You're going to, as you start to load the thing into this little compartment that you've made.
As it's quaffing this chaff quaff.
Chaff quaff.
It's French, you wouldn't know it.
You make it sound like a cologne.
You motherfuckers. Okay. So, as you're loading that in and as you press it down, you see your vision start to change as suddenly you're in a very similar truck with a large roll cage. You have a helmet on and you're opening the vent on your nitrous canister, and that motherfucker Ricky McCool in front of you is about to taste your dust.
Hell yeah.
Right?
Suck it, Ricky McCool.
As you open up the nitrous, slam your foot on the gas, and you just blast past this dude. He veers off of the road straight into the safety barricades. And as you guys see this, Patton just goes down into a perfect driving stance and is just shifting absolutely flawlessly as he is redlining it every single time and accelerating ridiculously fast away from this swarm. They're still hot on your trail, but he managed to get them off of the windshield there, and he is in full driver mode. All right. So, next up, Jiron. You still got this swarm that is on your tail, and they're pretty large at this point. Like they're these large,
Wait,
roughly
didn't you skip
large
me?
cotton ball.
No.
What?
Hasn't Jiren already gone once?
No, I'm at the end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, did we?
No, he did the
No.
shielding thing.
Oh yeah.
I promise you, it's my turn.
Yeah,
Well, it's
you
really
did your
hard.
perception roll.
Yeah, no, I know. I thought we had already
Yeah.
gone around again.
No. Yeah, for a second there, I was genuinely concerned that I'd skipped you. So, Jiron, you've currently got a howling swarm of these cotton ball-sized, mana-attracted puffball things. So, they aren't. You can tell that they aren't sentient. It's just they're attracting you basically magnetically. But at this
Okay.
point, they're pretty heavy.
So they're slowing the truck down.
Yeah, they're slowing the truck down, and there's a lot more on your tail as they swell rather dramatically with mana.
Okay. What I'm going to try and do here is I'm going to try and tap into my jacket,
Mm-hmm.
access the future mana a little bit, and try and, like, maybe... I know this is a bad idea and I do it way too often. I'm going to act as a conduit and try and
No.
siphon from
No.
the swarm.
Oh, you're gonna try and steal from the swarm.
Yep.
No, but this is a good idea.
That's actually a good idea.
I mean, yeah, but like this is the
That's
third
some
or-
warlock shit.
the third or fourth time Jerry has been like, I know, I'll connect to it directly.
No, he's
I mean,
learning.
this is some warlock shit.
Michael, he's
Did you
getting
use
better.
Arcana last time or no?
Stop sticking
did.
your dick in strange mana.
But I failed, so...
Yeah.
Oh,
so
oh,
what
you
exactly
did.
are you going to use to try and do this?
You can't bluff that. Oh, no. What could I since they're not sentient, could I bluff my like my mana signature to something that they might want to give mana to?
That actually makes somewhat almost sense.
Does it?
It's close.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Well,
I have
it's very clear that these things. So it's very clear that these things operate as some sort of swarm, right?
right.
Like it's not necessarily that they pass around mana, but in the same way that like plants' root systems are often connected, these things would be somewhat connected in that they would, evenly distribute mana.
Yeah, there has to be a point within them that they're like siphoning mana to or funneling mana to control everything. So
Yeah.
if I bluff myself, if I disguise myself essentially as something that they want to funnel mana to, we get our mana that we need, and we also get the swarm off of us because then they're just going to die.
2 for 1. I like it.
And I'm going to Beguiling Tongue this to add a bonus to my already
Sure.
insane bonus.
Yeah, what does that make it like a plus 20 or some shit?
Let's see, +5.
I think that literally
it
makes
makes
it
it
a
a
plus 20.
+21, my guy.
How?
So you just need to roll a not 1.
Yep, here we go.
The one.
Boy, howdy, that's a 38.
Yeah, that'll do it.
How does he have a bonus that high?
He's
Because
good
his
at bluff.
okay, you naturally, okay, the way that it works is tieflings have a natural +2 to bluff, and fucking warlocks do as well, I believe.
Oh, yep.
Like, he's trained in it. It's in his primary stat. And he's got just a miscellaneous +3 to it. Yeah, it was not reasonable. So, 38, right?
Yep.
Okay, so on a 38, you guys are going to see, so in order for this to work, right, you need to open the door.
Again
Slightly.
with this?
Jerry punches out the window.
So, you open the door slightly, and these things start rushing in. Just completely filling the cabin, all attaching to Jiron. You know, it's a howling vortex of confusion and madness. And then you just see fall. All these things just fall to the ground like tiny little snowflakes all around Jiron. And his eyes are like just glowing.
I'll lower my head, and you're going to see the little heart on the jacket is just huge.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put my hand on it. Then my hand's going to start glowing. I'm just going to squat down and put my hand into the floor of the truck.
Yeah.
And put it into the atmosphere of the entire cabin.
Yeah, just output some of that. However, what you do notice, though...
Steadily, though. We don't want to waste it all.
Yeah, is that you're primarily just getting back what you lost. Because, remember, whenever you get something back, you do have to pay it forward, and you do feel a large amount of that mana get taken up by future you.
Right.
Like, there is a point where a majority of this mana just gets stolen.
Pranked.
Yeah, future you pranks you a little bit there.
Ah, shucks.
It's like putting $20 in your jacket pocket for later, and then immediately it disappears.
And then you find it in that pocket 3 years from now. That's basically what happens. So, that's a success. As you guys get back onto 40, now absolutely certain that there is nothing in the way of mana between you guys and Oklahoma City. Because as you were, tapped into that, right? The amount of mana that was there, considering the radiant levels and things that you found, that swarm had just been scrubbing this area, right? For a long time.
I really don't like that things like that exist.
Yeah, it's not good.
They're just out competing everything by being big, dumb tumbleweeds sucking up all the mana.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like if your niche is steal mana, then if you can do that really effectively, you can kind of make every other magical life form irrelevant.
Yeah, because there's nothing around to eat them.
Mm-hmm. Except for maybe like deer, but they would learn pretty quickly not to do that.
Yeah, they'd eat a highly charged mana super ball and fucking die.
Yeah, their head would just explode. Burst into treats. So.
Well, we did it, Jerry. We saved the day.
That we did, John. That we did. It's going to kind of bend over a bit.
You cough up a lot of these little hairball things.
Specky starts batting one around.
Yes.
I got toys for you, Specky. A lot of them.
After Specky sees where they came from, Specky stops batting them around.
I also want to pick up some specimens to have in the future, if we want to check them out.
You have several jars of maybe dead mana scrubbing plants.
Several jars. I like it.
You have question mark jars.
I'm going to run one under some tap water and toss it to Specky.
Tap water.
Starts batting at it. So, as you're driving around here, you guys are starting to get rather low. You're almost there. You're almost there to Oklahoma City, but you're getting low on mana. So, Elias,
Okay.
as you're driving around, right, one of the other things that you need to consider is any amount of, like, raw materials that you can get in the way of, like, food and things like that will put less of a strain on your reserves.
Correct.
So, at a certain point as you're driving along, you do see a semi-large little herd or a small grouping of deer
Mm-hmm.
just grazing off in some pastures that you could potentially hunt one of those for some food. Also, off in the distance, however, with your keen biologist eyes, you also see some tracks for what looks like a large predatory mammal of some kind.
Displacer beast?
Potentially.
Okay, great. All right, so the question is, do we hunt these deer or do we... All right, here, I know what we're going to do. I'm going to use nature.
Mm-hmm.
And what I want to do is I want to look at where those tracks are going. I want to scare the deer into those tracks by, positioning myself correctly, knowing how deer run, how they get spooked and all that. And I want to spook them into whatever that predator is. And, if it's some kind of fuck huge, giga bear, then we'll just
Giga bear.
we'll just leave. But if it's something more reasonable, then we can either kill it and get one of the deer or just deal with it.
Okay.
I'm hoping it's not a giga bear. Those
What the
things
fuck's
are
a
awful.
Giga bear?
Dude, it's like a bear but giga.
Have you never seen a giga bear?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Pretty common in Ohio.
That will be a... What is it? Oh, wait. I'm looking at this weird. I'm going crazy.
Well, you add two numbers together.
31.
31. Okay. That'll be a success. So, what you see here is, as you're looking more closely at the tracks, right, you do see that they actually disappear as you look at them.
Oh, fuck.
So, and as you're looking around into that foliage area, you see a very, very small patch of magical foliage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what looks like, in an ironic twist of fate, a displacer beast.
Oh, like it's all by itself. It's all by its lonesome.
Yes.
Is it hurt?
It doesn't look like it can move from where it currently is just due to being isolated.
Oh,
If you had to guess, you would say that that portal that you guys hit,
mm-hmm.
if one of those things goes haywire and one of these things gets delayed, it gets delayed in time and space. So this very small patch of foliage came through with that thing, and it's just been stuck here.
Yeah, so it's got nowhere for it to go.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, so I'm still. What I'm going to do is I'm going to scare.
So the deer gets scared into the thing, and you just see one immediately vanish
as it's launched into that little isolated dome.
Yeah, as it just gets sucked right in.
All right. So, well, as long as we don't get close to that, we should be fine. So, basically, dealing with this thing would be too much more trouble than it's worth, and we really don't have the time. So I'm just going to get one of the deer that's spooked, and I don't know. I don't know what kind of weapons we have for hunting. I'd just assume like a snare or something.
Yeah, it's not very difficult. You've got Patton's crossbow, you've got John's guns.
So we'll just have Patton give it a crossbow bolt, and we'll avoid the area of influence that displacer beast has, and
Yeah,
walk
so
back with some.
when you get back into the truck, you can see Mavala Jr. just staring in that general direction.
Right, that's interesting.
And just like pawing at the side of the truck.
So there's we're in like a relative dead zone here,
Correct.
but it still knows where it is.
Yes.
Right. I'm gonna make a note of that and give it a little chunk of deer. Actually, here I'm gonna hold out the chunk of deer, and if it like whips and lashes at me, I'm gonna take it back and do the whole.
No,
food
it's just gonna take it.
Yeah, I'm doing
it's
the whole.
It's gonna take it slowly.
Food training thing here.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna make a note of the fact that displacer beasts seem to be able to tell where each other are, despite mana dead zones.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like, what, 7 successes now?
Yes, so you need one more. So, you guys are quickly approaching Oklahoma City, and you're also running low on mana. John, you guys are running low, by the way. This is getting to the point of, like, at this point, you've had to use a bit of your mana reserves. You could still use more, but you do notice that your ability to think rationally is starting to drop off, except for John.
What's that
You're
supposed to
more or
mean?
less fine still. Well, it means that you don't get affected by mana deprivation as severely.
Yeah, John's an orc. He doesn't use as much mana.
You've still got your faculties about you. So, as Patton is on more or less autopilot, you guys are pulling up into Oklahoma City, getting close to it, and what John is going to notice is there are very distinctive black and red markings on all of these buildings. Just a streak of red, a streak of black, a streak of red. As you see several people in full face masks, sort of like gas masks with various tubes attached to some suits, fairly similar to Patton's, but more ramshackle. Look at you guys, duck down below where their cover on top of the rooftops, and everything is still for a short period of time as you guys are pulling in. At a certain point, though, you do see several cars pull up behind you. These fully enclosed buggies, as they're very clearly tailing you. So, John, what do?
And we have no idea what these markings are, right?
You have absolutely no idea
Alright.
what these markings are or who these people are.
Hmm.
They seem to just be scoping you out right now.
Let's see. Could I get a fucking
We
insight
get
roll on them?
Insight roll?
Yeah, see if they're gonna turn hostile or if I think they're people we can talk with.
Sure. That's actually very good. Go for it.
27.
27?
Damn, son.
Yeah, I got a plus 10 in that.
All right. On a 27, so on a 27, you can see that they aren't making any actively hostile actions, but are instead sort of. It looks almost like they're working as like an escort for you. As another one pulls up in front of you, you see everybody else looks fairly tense, and you do get a call from your Dragonborn asking what they should do.
We gotta.
Asking for permission to engage.
I want you to stay calm back there. We got a guy in front of us. I don't think they're gonna hurt us, so we're just gonna follow him in.
All right. So you follow them in as you guys are driving through. You notice there are light guards posted on several buildings with sort of outposts and like command towers dotted around the city, like watchtowers and the like. You see people up there with alternating between long-range rifles, crossbows, and the like. They don't have them trained on you, but they are looking behind you. As you see several of them start to radio up as you guys pull up into Oklahoma City proper, which is not particularly well maintained by these people from what you can tell. It's somewhere between the congregation and one of the steel drivers' safe houses. It's not as trashed as the steel drivers because it seems like they still give a shit, but they aren't making it look nice. Everything is very much function over form here. As you see various markings that are clearly not to, like, mark turf or things like that, but rather to give information, send messages, and mark certain buildings off with certain codes. So, as you guys pull in, you pull up, and you're right between a very large baseball arena, like a large field that has been filled in with various huts and shacks and buildings and the like, and this incredibly large building, the Cox Convention Center, as you can still make out the sign. The glass is all busted out, but it's been boarded up. Not very tight, considering that this is a complete dead zone. However, you pull up in front of a patch of massive greenery.
Magically activated or no?
Somewhat. You see some magically activated plants from the inside of this large building. There's this large glass structure that you can see from the road, and this big cylindrical building with that is just bursting from the seams with magical plants of all kinds and other plants and things as well. You see a massive skyscraper to the north that has various windows busted out, and you can actually make out some small wyverns flying in and roosting up in the highest heights. You see one carrying a bundle of plants up there into a roosted nest, it looks like. And you see several of these people up in that same tower with a scaffolding system built around it as you pull up. So, you pull into the parking lot and you get a hand signal, just a raised fist, and circled around as these people all get out of their vehicles, move up to your door, and motion for you to open it.
All right. Yeah, I'll open it. I'm gonna put down my shotgun.
Okay.
And not make any sudden moves. Hop out of the truck.
You step out, and immediately one of them is going to say, "Are you okay? Are you in need of assistance?"
I think we're pretty good over here. Howdy. Name's John.
Hello. Please, enter the gardens, quickly.
Okay.
As they lead you very quickly towards this large cylindrical building. And as they throw open the door and sort of shove you in, you feel immediately much better. As this place is incredibly mana dense. You see an array of sort of thin, sickly-looking people and small children sitting in here, sort of surrounded by these more armored, masked-up guards who are going to pull off their masks, reveal themselves, and stand at attention as you see a very, very large Goliath in this full, fairly menacing-looking. If you ever seen like a Mad Max movie, like some not a Mortan Joe, like some
Lord Humongous.
What was the name of the guy? Yeah, sort of like that, but mostly plate armor, but with the helmet and all. They have very, very long black hair in a rough ponytail behind them. They seem to be attending to one of these people. They're going to set them down again, put a cloth on their forehead, and walk over to you guys, stand up to full height, and they are very tall. Remove their helmet, and you're going to see that she is a very large Goliath woman. Rough facial features, looks about middle-aged. Some noticeable crow's feet, and Goliaths have sort of grayish, like gray skin with several streaks of black, some vertical streaks, like right below the eyes and along the cheeks. As she is wearing this studded leather armor with various tubes connecting to some tanks fairly similar to what Patton has on his whole battle rig. As she's going to look at you and extend a hand. Pleasure to meet you. My name is Rakana Vad. Welcome to Tiatwaki.
Tiatwaki, huh? I wonder what kind of crazy and wacky adventures we'll get up to here. Guess you can find out on the next episode of Revival, a Dungeons & Dragons Real Play podcast. My name's Tad. I play Patton. You can find the podcast here on YouTube, iTunes, Google Play. Same place that I host my main podcast called Let Me Tell You About. You can find all links to all that stuff either in the description and also on the website, which is LMTYA.com or letmetellyyouabout.moe. You can also find us on Twitter at LetMeTellYouPD. You can send mail into Jerry's show at letmetellyyouabout@gmail.com. Let me tell you about with 3 T's. There's a Discord in the description, as well as a Patreon link and all that fun stuff. Thanks for staying with us, guys. I'm glad school's finally out for the summer, and expect to see a lot more Revival headed your way. See you then.